everybody. Welcome to ICC's Game of the Week with your host, as always, Joel Benjamin. It seems to play chess at high levels these days, you have to make the proclamation, Ich bin ein Berliner. After witnessing the parade of Berlin defenses in the recent London Classic, it seems fair to conclude that everyone is playing the solid variation, or at least doing battle against it. The infamous Berlin endgame can be a hard opening to master. With the queens off the board, the game can slow down a bit, offering both sides many slightly different options for developing the pieces. It's an opening that lends itself more to understanding strategy than memorizing sequences. I can almost hear the groans out there at the prospect of a Berlin of the week, but I found it noteworthy that young grandmaster Sam Sevian outplayed the experienced elite GM Dmitri Jakovenko in this battleground. At the time of this game from the ACP Masters Rapid Championship, Sam was still a bit short of his 15th birthday. Okay, it's a big game here for young Sam Sevian as he takes on Jakovenko, and he is an e4 player, which means, of course, he has to do a lot of thinking about the Berlin. Now, at many levels, grandmasters and on down, you see the move d3 a lot. And if you decide to play the Berlin for black, then you can expect that you're going to get a lot of sort of standard Roy Lopez positions after d3, with a lot of maneuvering. White renounces playing for d4 in one move, as he does in the standard old Roy Lopez with castling rook e1, c3, and d4. The grandmaster preferred move is then bishop c5, and then we see at the highest levels we see about 50% bishop takes c6 and 50% c3, as it was in the London Classic. But Sevian castles, leaving that pawn to be taken, and then he plays d4, headed for the endgame. Of course, rook e1 is the main alternative, and you see a lot of those 2780 players battling out this position, but it's a very small margin for White. White is really playing for a very small advantage in this type of position, and it's just at the highest levels they sort of admit that it's very difficult to get anything against their opponents, against well-prepared opponents, so they will accept very small opportunities to get an advantage. But at the club level, it's not particularly exciting, at least in the main lines where the bishop retreats to f1, as the grandmasters play it. d4, actually, even though it leads to a lot of draws at the grandmaster level, it's because the grandmaster technique is so good. It's not actually an easy opening to play, as for one thing, the position becomes immediately imbalanced, black having the bishop pair and but having a doubled pawn. But the white majority is not quite so clean because of this pawn on e5. If the pawn is on e4, well, aside from the fact that it could take the knight, if the pawn is on e4, the structure is extremely favorable for white, and there's just no two ways about it. But here, those pawns often get blockaded on the light squares. This light squared bishop for black is an extremely important piece. Okay, so we go into the ending. Queen takes queen, king takes queen, and a number of moves have been tried for white, but basically the knight tends to go to c3, and the rook on f1 often goes to d1. A lot of games, white plays an early rook d1, mainly just to push the king to e8, because there are some lines where black will play bishop d7 and king c8. But now the most prevalent move at the grandmaster level is definitely h3, and I'm not entirely sure why h3 is considered to be more accurate than, let's say, knight c3. But the bottom line is that h3